Welcome, everybody, to the Saturday class. Today's topic is about the ending and the beginnings of the life patterns and the cycles. And let's tell you, the biggest sentence that came up to me when I, was brainstorming what kind of the class we should do about 2 weeks ago was from the last book, from the Pleiadian Code 3, where the past ends, the future begins. However, even I have not expected that when the past ends, it can be so painful and so dramatic and so crazy, but it is something that is often needed to open up a new cycle for the new to come. So let's open the class as we always do. And everybody who will join us later after will hear this recording, please just to follow and find where this message fits for you in your current life. So let's begin as we always do in the soul healing. And who doesn't know this routine, just follow. It's very simple. So let's prepare our energy for this. Tap on the head. 1, 2, 3. I ask and thank you to be connected to the highest available energy of God, of my higher self, and the frequency of the unconditional love. I will bring the unconditional love in your body from your head to your body and to your toes. Just your whole being is filled with the beautiful and the unconditional love. Now put your hands over your heart. And from the inner core of my being, I send out unconditional love to my all auric field. And if there are any energies, entities, spirits attached to me, if there's any negative or dark energies attached to me, I feel it with the power of the unconditional love and call upon my family of light to escort them back home. And I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Now we're gonna open our ancient healing learning temple. We're gonna click our fingers as above, below, so below, as on left, so on right. And today we're gonna walk in the temple that is set in the ancient Lemuria, in the place of the lovely Hawaii. We go and walk there into the temple that you remember within you. And as you walk in, close the door behind you. Find your rejuvenating crystal, find your place. And let's set our intentions, what we allow for having to be part, the present of the moment of the now and of our body. I am happy. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. I am healthy. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. I am positively abundant. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. And I am unconditional love. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. And today, as a last part of it, I want you to allow yourself to receive. Not only that you are ill, but you receive. I receive. I allow myself to receive love, happiness, and then soul and mind's knowledge that will guide me in the thriving in a life on the earth and creating this success, this amazing thing for all of us here. And I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. All right. So in the past 2 days, I have a series of the messages to share with you today. Many of them goes with the ending, or maybe probably all of them goes with this ending and the beginning of the new life pattern. So let's first look at the endings. Naturally, we are in the month of the September, those who listen this recording in the September of the 2021. The month of the September is in the number 9 frequency vibration. Number 9 means the ending of your cycles, meaning to look at your life review, to see what was happening this year or the years before in your whole life, and honestly seeing what is working, what is repeating, what is not working, what is it that you want to change. Now, on the top of it, we are living in the vibrational year of the number 5, which is the 2021. 2021 is energetically amplified as a year 2012, which was also a number 5 in the vibrational frequency. Like, that is not enough, and it changes. The last winter solstice on the December 21st, 2020, we have completely ended the Mayan calendar. Many of you have felt that this surge, this power of the energy. I read from many people who have awakened through that time, or who had some life-changing experiences, or those mystical kind of the experiences that completely prop them on this journey. And the journey took on a quantum speed, which means it's sped up rather fast. Why is it happening? It is happening that we learn faster, that we learn more, and that we learn to understand our starseed energy and how to really bring it and embody it in this human body. Your human body is your most precious instrument, or the car, whatever you want to call it. It is a physical matter that is capable, literally alchemically, to transmute the knowledge of your soul and on your mind through your body into the physical realm. I'm going to make a little sidetrack here. We're connecting with these wonderful beings of the Pleiadians, which, lead me in this work and lead all of us in these workshops and the others. And we would like to be like them, or, Sirians or Orions or Andromedians, any other star nation that you connect with. And we love them, and we would like to be like them. We are inspired like them. But they need you, they need us to figure out how this energy works and how to transmute it, energy alongside with your energy into the body, and how the body can co-create something in this world to make this world a better, bring this earth into the new earth, into the new age, into that golden age. That is what we are working on. And that's why these endings and the beginnings are extremely hard. And the things that are happening in your life is shattering into the pieces, or what you believe would work until now, it's literally falling apart. It is not the meanness of the universe. It is just the most wonderful and a beautiful opportunity that is given to us at this time. We just are not prepared. We just don't see it that way yet. And it's time to understand this. Now, alongside of this energy of this, literally a destruction, there comes something open around the Christmas as well. Energy of the unconditional love, energy of the soulmates, a strong energy of your soul family. By meeting them is just so beautiful, and it makes this transformation more bearable. It'll make me cry to even think about it, because that's what we need. Love is the most powerful energy that is and exists in this universe. And in the human body, we don't always figure it out, this energy and the levels of love, and what it is to have that unconditional love. But I think we're learning and starting to understanding much better. But those are those two important energies, with the transformation, it holds you with this energy of the unconditional love. Yesterday, I did a reading for this lady from the UK who channeled the Syrians, and she's in her late 60s. And it was my first reading with her, and we just opened the Zoom and we look at each other and we just spent a few minutes crying. Neither of us could just talk. We were just sobbing. That's what it is. You meet your soul family and you just so touch and you feel like, oh my God, of course I'm not here alone. And I'm so blessed because I know all of you, those who are sitting here and those who will listen to this recording later on. I know we are soul family. I know we come in a power together and we are all tested and presented with so many of our choices, the choices that nobody else will do for us, those decisions from those choices that nobody else can do for us. But there's always the love that holds you back. And it is very important to remember it at this time. So that brings me to Essenes. You guys, again, whoever sits here today and who will listen to that recording later on, last time we met in our full consciousness was about 2,000 years ago, around the time of the Jesus Christ of the Mary of Magdala, in the group that we used to call ourselves Essenes. It is time to fully rekindle those memories and the energies, because that will be part of your future selves that you will step into. When I started on this journey, when I started to research and really looking, who are these aliens, Pleiadians, and these ancient beings, Pleiadians always says, just look 2,000 years back. It is something that is easily traceable, that it had happened, and there's a solid proof that you can build up on, something that you can start trust and to believe. So allow yourself to only believe that you live at that time. So you all live at that time. Otherwise, you would not be sitting in this class. And I do understand that those who are supposed to hear and are not, there's a lot of level of the fears and the doubt and a feeling that you may have failed. But we all feel like that. And we have a choice how we are going to feel, what will be that future that we will choose to, and how our life will go forward from now on. The changes that you are looking for are not the ordinary changes. Again, because you are an ordinary human being. And sometimes even I sit in and wonder, is it even possible? And of course, I teach about it and write books about it, and that's my life mission. But we all sit up there and says, is it possible? Is it possible really that embody that ancient energy and bring it into the future? Can we rejuvenate? Can we co-create or this powerful resurrection of our life? But you know what? It is the same answer. Like when you ask, am I a starseed? Is it possible? Like, really? When people come for the reading, I says, I don't know, so afraid like that. Tell them like, nope, you just like, ordinary human being. One thing what I have learned from the Pleiadians and from my guide Kenyu is to trust. Stop questioning yourself and trust. If a question, wonder, that become an obsession, cross your mind, it is part of your memory, part of your past life memories. Because otherwise you would not question it. It's like, you go to the ice cream parlor and you may wonder for the hour before you go there, am I going to have a vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream? I like the both, but which one is my favorite today? Then you have your ice cream, it goes away. You're not going to worry over the next month until you go to the ice cream place again, which one you're going to have. But we do obsess about the life of the Jesus Christ and Mary Magdala, about the resurrection, about the cellular rejuvenations, about the knowledge that they had, about the life that led, and what does it really mean for us? That means that there are the things to find out, and they want us to find out. The greatest story of the time is the love story of Jesus Christ and Mary of Magdala. And I tell you one thing, there's not the one couple who come there and says like, we have been there, Jesus Christ and Mary of Magdala, here we go. We're going to carry this love story in this world. It would be great. We all would love that. But in this lifetime, we have a gift of a lifetime. You do have a code of the Jesus of Christ and Mary Magdalene within you. You have a code of the Anna, the grandmother of the Jesus, of her son, the Joseph of Arimathea, who was the most amazing businessman and took care of the community. If that would not be for the Joseph of Arimathea, they probably would all die. Up there, they would not move to the France and to the UK and continue of their missions and so much on. You have imprint of all those main players. Let's call them the players, the main characters of the story of that time. And you can and have to embody anybody who works for you. So at the moment of time, you can change them from the day to day. If it's a Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, then says, okay, here it is. What worked, what didn't work. And this was the message to share. There wasn't a happy love story of the Jesus Christ and Mary of Magdala if we look at it from our 21st century point of mind. What if this, what I missed? What if this? That it's time to embody and let yourself guide what it would be if people accepted the Jesus Christ, he does his teaching, as we do today. Those who want to follow will follow him. Those who don't will go to join to whatever other side that there could be or another beliefs that it would be. And that Jesus and Mary may move to the France or anywhere else, and they can live there happily ever after. We know they had children. I truly believe in that and so much on, but in the secrecy. What if this lifetime should be our happily ever after? But we are just too afraid because the past 2000 years have been very damaging, very destroying, and instill incredible level of the shame in your beliefs. Beliefs that you are a failure, that you don't deserve, that you are not good enough, and your presence or your actions will put everybody down, and that you will definitely fail. That's just stuff that is not true. And like our own personal beating is not enough, then you start remembering your past lives and what the others have done to you, and you get choked up on the forgiveness. How can I forgive somebody? They ruined my life. Because it's looking that everything is happening right now and again and again. Those, my lovely soul family, are just traps and nothing else. All those hold you from embracing your self-acceptance. Ending and beginning of your new cycle starts with a self-acceptance, with really that deep and powerful surrender. If you guys know how to swim, then you all floated on the water. When you lie down and the water carries you and you don't go on because you surrender and you trust that it will hold you. So I grew up in the Czech Republic. We had only the rivers where the float is not as cool because it can carry you kind of faster depending on what river you are, or the lake. You can float beautifully over the lake. When I first swam in the Atlantic Ocean, I was wondering, with all those waves, they must definitely, pull you down. They don't. You can float in the ocean on those waves and they will carry you if you surrender and you will not fight. And that, I think, what we have to do. And now, so you start remembering your story from the time around the Essene. And we know that they have accomplished their work. They have embodied this energy for us. We have embodied it for us in the crystalline grid of the earth. But they did not ascend that. I don't believe in that. I may change my mind about it, maybe sometime later, but at the moment of now, I do believe they achieve consciously and on a purpose only the spiritual ascension. So they can be part of this life. They can be part of you. They can be part of me. They can be part of us. So as a soul family, we bring it to that next thing. I think the physical ascension coming out of this earth, coming to this end or understanding that we can have a happy earth life. Why not? We come to these human bodies, we try to embody this star consciousness within. We need to refurbish the body to be even able to deal with this star consciousness. Why we can't be happy in this life? Happiness is a choice. It is nothing that is bestowed upon you. It is something that you have to choose. So is love, so is success, so is acceptance of everything that you have ever been. Now, once you come to it and says, okay, I'm ready. I want to be my ancient self. Then the next thing is, well, think about your future self as well. And think about the future self a few lifetimes from now, or your higher self who already lived through it and everything. And says, well, that's my guidance, how I take the old knowledge, refurbish it and make it new, and figure it out how I'm gonna make it the most amazing thing in the 21st century. Because if you read the ancient texts and from the people who channel in the 1900s and 1940, 1950, like one of my favorites, they literally take the ancient teachings and they explain it in a different way. The book of the Kybalion is literally a book of the green emerald tablets, hermetic teaching, explained in a different way that could be understood in the current mind of humanity. And that's your job. That is something that adds in your new patterns. Each single one of you have to take something that you remember from the past, see how it's working in the future, and make it the most coolest and amazing thing, how it would work in the 21st century. If you remember that you were this cosmic mother or the Amazon goddess in the past, you would look really weird to walking like the Wonder Woman in her cute little outfit every day on the street. You will be weird, wouldn't you? It will be probably cute, and may please a lot of people look at you, but they will want to be with you because they look at you. And some of the people will absolutely stay away from you because you are weird. How do you make it normal? Nobody needs to know that you are the cosmic mother or the Wonder Woman. They just can look at you as a wise person, somebody you will inspire them to be, somebody who would says, I want to be your mini you. And that is the goal. That is the goal of this transformation. There was something amazing that I have seen this week. We talk about these genetic experiments and the cloning that, may have been done back in the past, or already in the Pleiadian and in the ancient Atlantis, and so much on. See, we are explaining something in the words that we understand. Like the cloning means it goes to the machine, somebody makes another mini you, imprint most likely the same personality, and there you go. Do this in the world. What if we're just explaining it wrong? Again, the language is it's a beautiful thing, but our communication skill often suck. Sorry for the choice of the words. We just do not know how to explain it. We say something and people goes like, oh my God, that's what they had this machine, that's how it was, or somebody gets really insulted. And that goes, with this terminology or our even personal communication between each other or the people that are very close to our heart. There's just so much of misunderstanding and a miscommunication because we just lack that explanation, but cannot find the right words or feel funny about it. What if the cloning in our time can mean that you just inspire two people to be like you? There's somebody who's going to look at you and says like, wow, I want to raise my child as Eden does, because I'm so inspired what she does with her son. I want to be her. Right there, she cloned her mini-me mother, who's going to follow in her kind of the ways. Or anybody else, whenever it's your teaching, whenever it's your work, whenever it is volunteering. That is how you clone the people in the light codes that you carry within you. You carry them. You not force them on them. They choose to have them. And that's how it works the best. If you go, we hear the story, and I only read about them, that when you sit with some very ancient masters in a person, it is just so amazing that you feel like, I just want to be here. I want to change my life forever. It's like when I met my mentor and I look at her and all I could do just to cry and cry and cry, who really became my spiritual mother later on. I instantly knew I want to be like her. And when she started to call me mini me, her mini hair, I was like, oh my God, this is really cool. And then it comes with this like, but I have so many problems and I don't have a life like her. I didn't have an upbringing like her. I didn't have an education like her. How could I ever be? Why not? Why not me? Why I cannot accept myself? And that goes to all of you. Why not? You don't have to have the perfect family and perfect upbringing and all clear records that you have never, give an evil eye to anybody. We are humans. We have our pitfalls. So by the self-acceptance of yourself, you starting to look who I want to be. That is important thing. I want you to think through this, class, who you want to be, and be wild about it. Now, once you set the energy to the universe, as I want to completely change, or I want to rebuild my body, I want to have, let's call this, I want to have a powerful resurrection of my life. Powerful, change. I will completely change me from the inside out. Universe will mirror whatever you ask for. So you really have to be careful and gentle with it. I think at this time, neither of us most likely have been gentle, and we wanted things to happen fast. Those we are in the quantum speed, so they are manifesting faster than we can breathe through them. Now, that brings us to this. The chaos precedes the change. So first you make your intention for your change. Then you start defining who you used to be, clear some past lives, what is your problem right now, and who you would like to be. Then you design your new, I'm gonna say from the female point of view, a Wonder Woman outfit on the 21st century. And you should be wild about it. Get the jewelry that you like, get the color that you like really make it physical, that really defines you, that when you wear that, you go like, yep, that is who I am now. Then you start owning it and feeling it, and then the life's gonna present you with the chaos. Sometimes less, sometimes more. Sometimes it can go on the scale of from the 1 to 10 to even 12 to the 13. And just to know that all you have to is to stabilize yourself through it, nothing else. Universe literally asks you, how bad do you want this? How bad you are willing to work for it? Are you willing to change? And then you start feeling all these nasty things that we all carry within ourselves. Shame, guilt, grudge, judgment, low self-confidence. You can name it. You can name the whole list of those lower vibrational emotions. And what you do, we try to hide it, right? That nobody sees it. I'm going to deal with it. It's okay. I don't have to talk about it. It's absolutely okay. Yep, everything's great. Everything's amazing. And then it builds up and builds up and builds up. And notice, where do we fail? We fail in communication. Now, we may say, should I sit here every day and just regurgitate all my feelings every day and talk about it every day? You're going to suffocate the person you're going to be saying it to. That's the plain down thing. You're going to just become a victim. You're going to get caught up in another problem of this. When you're just going to become a victim and just complain and complain and complain. And and complain, or you become very angry and says, you know, it's not fair, this is going to happening, why is happening again, why is life not working my way, oh my god, and that happened to me. Then you go more in that aggressive energy, and then it says, okay, how do we communicate? Like, do I speak, do I don't speak? What the heck I should supposed to do? They say to communicate or hold it inside. I'm holding inside, I'm choking on it again. It's a whole vicious cycle. And it's like, you know, this hamster wheel that you run and run and run. So you're running between the two chakras. You're running between your second chakra and between your fifth chakra. That is where this energy is literally first generating, let's call it this way. This is something that I work in the new book, and I wrote a meditation that we will do in the end from this new book about releasing the shame. Ego controls 3 brains of the body: your second chakra, which I call the azure lake, your 4th chakra, the clear river of your happiness, and your brain, the sea of all possibilities. And it poisons it with the greed, hatred, and the ignorance. How does it control it? It gets you by the shame. Shame is the lowest pattern on the scale of the consciousness. And every single one of us can write books about the feelings of the shame just from this lifetime. That I'm convinced about. So, how to communicate? The first, you need to look at that lower bladder. In the Qigong, we call it the lower dantian. In soul healing, we're going to call it the azure lake. In Kundalini practice, I do believe they call it, or in tantric practice, that's the place of your Shakti, of your feminine, divine energy, of your cosmic mother within you. If that energy is polluted, literally polluted by the silly little ego who wants to run the role, wants to run the life, by the tiny bits of the shame, oh God, whatever you speak here, whatever comes, think about it, that energy rise up on the circulating up there. It will go there with your starseed consciousness. It can activate your alien compass, as I wrote in the Pleiadian code tree, which I think by now you all read. It activated, but it doesn't make it fully connect to your alien fragment. I speak perfect English, right? Alien fragment. And you're gonna end up here because to be connected from your compass to your fragment, to have a heart and mind connection, it actually, that creation comes through expression, through the speaking, expressing and creating in this world. So all this, the ego says, sure, you want to have an alien compass within you? Yeah, let me believe you. You're going to have that. Yeah, don't worry about it. But you can come here and suddenly you're either complaining or you are angry about something and you want to change your life your way. You come to this destruction. Ego says, yeah, I've been there, done that. Good luck. Let me throw you a little bit to the deep waters. Oh, you're floating in the ocean? Well, honey, let me send a few dolphins and I'll make you believe that they are the sharks, right? And again, if you are from the Europe, you have to learn that the dolphin goes this way while the shark goes this way, because they don't know that. You see the dolphin, you completely panic that it's a shark. And maybe it's the same like here. But it's just a metaphorically, you know, of that. It lets you do that. And you go like, oh my God, I surrender. I'm floating. I'm trusting the universe. And there's a shark coming. Seriously. I'm going to hold my words up there because they would not be polite what I wanted to say about that. But you all can imagine those sentences up there. Now here's a secret. Sometimes you have to observe and sometimes you have to share. And you need to allow yourself to be guided. when is the right time to do so. When is the right time to sit back and take us several steps back and observe. And when it's time to move forward and communicate. And those time of taking step back could feel like it kills you inside. It just breaks your heart, shatters you into the pieces, slices you into tiny things. But you know what? It's just your ego running there like a crazy maniac, trying to get the best of you, saying like, you're running in the wheel. You don't want to have that alien fragment. Trust me, like they kill you with that before. That's not true. You want to have an alien fragment. And 2,000 years ago, we had that and we used that. It's just, we needed to carry it a little bit more longer. So here is the secret. This time, you know, as you look at the life review, there's so much written about the life review and looking at your patterns that I don't have to explain how to do that. Every single one of you know how to do it. You look what is repeating right now. You see what is repeated in your past. You see the action you have taken before. And how do they let here? If you are repeating the same pattern, then the action, as great as they look before, need to be changed, most likely the opposite of it or so much on, and do it differently. And go with the feeling instead of just making a logical assumption of everything. And that will be the change. But the secret is this. If you want to change, we usually want to change like to be saved. You know, like a Cinderella story. Poor little girl was suffering. This used to be my favorite story for all the times. She worked super hard. She was kind, she was loving, and she would not even think badly how mistreated she was. She took the suffering every single day, not for the one person, but for like a 5 person every single day, because she knew that one day she will be rewarded for her kindness. And she hoped, she believed in the bright future that one day something amazing is going to happen. Now pay attention to this. One day, something amazing is going to happen. Most likely somebody will enter her life. And we all know the Cinderella story from the inside out. Somebody will enter her life who will grant her her wish, who will come and save her. How many times we wished for that? How many times every single one sat there and says, please help me, save me, show me the way. How many times you sat there and says, okay, Pleiadians, appear right now. I've done that, they never did. and they did when I would never expected that. Or you wish for the people to come in your life and just to make the changes for you. We all want to be saved. I think it's the basic human behavior. Maybe it's probably some bad habit from the aliens as well, but it is not working. Every time, if you look at a pattern that may be repeated right now, at some point, you may have been saved. Or you've been the one who's saving the other one or the other way. It applies to the both sides equally. I'm just looking at it from the Cinderella story when she was saved. But you may be the one who really, really needs to save that person, that other one. And that's where we make mistakes. That is the part of the shortcut that we take. And we always pay our price for the shortcuts. There are some little shortcuts that are allowed at some times. Like I actually believe that the love and the connection between the soulmates may be that shortcut that is allowed right now. Because God, in the time of the darkness, you need that little lift, that little feeling that you are not alone and there is something, but you cannot have that something that you want to be safe. You can't have that love or be saved because it's based on the energy of wants and needs. I want this and I need that. Because if you don't get it, your ego is going to get the best out of you. And your ego at this point may be well-trained servant, but it does arise sometime at time. You know, the ego will always tell with you, will transform into universal mind. But once in a while it comes and it's like the psycho on the crazy drugs. Whatever we can call it like the worst of the worst, the one who's like a zombie and just go for the flesh and just like don't even think, you know, when you see in those funny stories on the movies, you know, it goes like that, it goes for your jugular veins. And because you don't get what you want, then you're changing your life pattern, changing, and then you get very discouraged on the half of it, that you don't get what you want, what you need, and suddenly you feel that the universe is not supporting you and your guide abandoned you, and why was this presented to you? It's like the carrot that somebody dangling in the front of your nose, because you will never get what you want. Hear that word, you never get what you want. And it may be the most brilliant thing that you want. It may be most selfless thing. Emotions, feeling, person, action that you may want, but you want that. And that is not working. How do you get what you want? Because you can get it, actually, okay? You can get it by the evolution. You have to yourself evolve. So there's a point of the be safe or saving somebody, and point of the evolution. And that is what I want you to get from this class. I want you to allow yourself evolve from your ending of the pattern and evolve into a new beginning of your life, where your past ends to new begins. Think of the infinite symbol. One half is the past, one half is the future, but they all meet in the middle. That middle is like the eye of a god. That middle is where that energy center focus, that's the eye of your hurricane. And you need to evolve in that. The evolution can be actually really fast. Evolution is based on that energy of trust. Trust that your higher self guides you. Trust that your universe guides you. Follow the signs and the symbols which are on the way all the way. Like set your intention of what you want. I know there's that word want. What is your goal, right? It's not a bad word. It's just how do you get to that point to have that? If it's the right thing for you, because sometimes we may want the thing. I don't know, I may want to be an golden Olympic medalist, but by my age is nothing gonna happen. Even when I was younger, it would not happen, because I don't think that there was something that was aspired to do, or that my body could be trained to. Probably could if I really would want to have. But let's say if let's say if in the past lives you have been a gladiator and warrior and somebody, the blacksmither and bodybuilder, then that may be a really cool pathway for you to inspiring the others to become a gold medalist. But if you have been, let's say, a healer and doctor and herbalist, it's not really in your DNA coding or the imprint to have that aspiration. You know what I mean? So, if you put it up there, your higher self says, oh, sweetie, this is just crazy. Let's just cut on that. And let's show you something else where you can be absolutely superior. Well, superior is the wrong word. Absolutely thriving and amazing at. And so suddenly, you have a broken heart that, I don't know, here I am, and I want to be an amazing sportsman, but it's not working for me. So I'm going to be, this amazing, I don't know, dentist, and there's so much on. And it's for your best and highest good, even though if you cannot see it right now, if you follow those signs, they will be up there. So you need to see, what it is that you want to be, and then follow and trust and allow yourself evolve. Now, evolution happens in the two ways. So you have to understand the body. You know that the human body, I am in the human body. And the human body evolves through suffering. It's in our coding. It's in your blood. That's how these bodies have been designed to be in a control. If you live in some kind of the difficult situation, your body eventually adjusts and will evolve. There are actually scientific proof that the biggest evolution usually happened to people who live in the Tibet, because there's the high altitude and the body has to adjust and it helps to evolve. You know, it's funny, if you grew up in the very cold region, that's where I grew up, you get used to cold and the icy cold water and it doesn't really bother you. And then you move in the south, where I am right now, and suddenly you realize that you can't tolerate the cold and cold water and everything because you evolve into something different. But there's that evolution process. It's very uncomfortable to live in the hot region when you come from the cold region. It takes the time of the adjustment in the body. And literally, there's nobody come to save you, because yeah, you have an air conditioner at home and that's about it. That's the saving thing, but you still have to walk outside and do, you know, the stuff, and you are very miserable. So your body adjusts, your blood thinners a little bit, and you can tolerate the heat, and you will actually most likely enjoy it as well, unless you really hate it and you're blocking yourself. See, that hating and then I'm not getting what I want, that's what makes you miserable. If you says, well, I'm live here and I'm going to adjust to it, I allow myself to evolve. If I'm going to live in the South Carolina and hate the weather every single day, I'm not going to evolve. My body's going to get sick. I most likely will manifest some silly physical illness. And I'm going to want somebody to save me. And I'm going to be angry that they have not saved me because I didn't allow myself evolve. So again, looking at this evolution, think about the illnesses within the body. But I had like gazillion examples of it. And I says, no, those are just the examples, a theory I have. Let me give you an example of the Lyme disease. When I had the Lyme disease, today I look at it as the biggest gift of my life, because it set me on the journey where I am today. Did I want it to be saved by the medical industry or by anybody who would know what to do? Absolutely. It is the most, you know, from my experience, a horrible disease that I would not wish even to my worst enemy. But it was when I started to learn the energy healing, when I started to learn to connect with my body and to see what my body needs. That was the change. And it's not only that my body needed to change, my emotional aspect, my way of life needed to change, because it was completely dysfunctional. So I allow myself evolve, but I also allow my body, my physical meat and the bones and the blood to evolve, to carry me through it. So my evolution happened on the spiritual level, that I changed the way how I think, changed the way of the relationship that I had, and changed the way of the looking of who I can be in the future. And it all started, when I'm looking back to it, it all started to the self-acceptance. And it wasn't the self-accept that, oh my God, I'm connected to the Kenyu and Pleiadians. It was the self-acceptance into my life is really miserable. I am very unhappy. And I made mistakes. Or whatever was there, accepting whatever people have done to me and owning it, or what I have done to them and owning it, instead of just sitting there in the blame and choking on it. So it evolved. Long story short, your evolution. All of you are experienced meditators. You guys have done all kinds of the energy works, not only one. You are not beginners on this journey. You are in the master class because you are part of the ancient Essenes. It gets harder, it gets difficult, and the more support it's up there, it's absolutely doable. So you take your soul mind consciousness. Majority of you have that alien compass already activated, and you're playing with that energy of having a fragment. The next book is like help you with that even more. And it's not going to shake you as crazy as the last one. Trust me, at least I hope so. Even though I shake my ground currently. So it should be better than that, okay? Because we're dealing with it now. But oh my God, if you guys know my writing, I live my stories, and I need to write more uplifting stories, I guess. Let's leave it down up there. They are definitely, they are uplifting. There's a happy ending in all of them. At least that's my goal, that there's a happy ending in every single one of them. But to dig out the things can definitely be painful in the process. So where I was with the evolution. You take your starseed consciousness and you need to realize that your physical body at this point is not compatible with it. You are, guys, assessing between fifth dimensional energy. And if that means overcoming the ego, connecting with the intelligent mind, and have that soul mind consciousness, have sort of, that understanding of and here and there functioning, working between your compass and your fragment. Then you connect with the other soul family. Whenever you have a romantic relationship or the platonic relationship or the friendship relationship, when you connect with the soul family, then you're starting to trust one another, to do a very deep and intimate energy work on each other, to rejuvenate your cellular structure, to organs. You will feel how it is. It feels like you are part of each other's bodies. That is the seventh dimensional energy. But that usually happens on the astral plane. That's how we know it. But then it needs to be bridged into your physical body. Because the body, again, it's incompatible. Think of this metaphor. You figured out how to plug your soul mind consciousness in the very high voltage outlet. Then you try to connect that high voltage outlet to your body, and your body is completely malfunctioning and having, a lot of physical hiccups. And you said, I have all this spiritual knowledge. I'm living the life in this kind of the transformation. Why my body cannot follow? Because the body is not designed for it. This body is designed to get you in this life, to get you in the evolutionary process. On evolutionary process, when you are saved by somebody else, our goal is to hopefully reproduce, so they don't have to clone anybody. We make our little mini me's in a physical kind of the way, and you have to survive long enough that your mini me can make it into the future and can reproduce themselves again. That is literally a human life. So you are here ahead with your consciousness, with your high energy, ahead of the evolutionary line of the humankind. And so you need to kind of take a step back and bring it into the body. We will do that in the meditation. It's actually a simple way. Now, let me sidetrack here a little bit. So yesterday when I read for this wonderful lady who channeled the Syrians, her husband, who she believed it was a twin flame, just passed away the last year, and she was so heartbroken. And we talk about it, and we were seeing how their bodies just didn't know how to adjust this energy. You go higher and higher, you bring more knowledge and energy. Let's say you start having this literally a remembrance on the cellular rejuvenations and so much on. But there are the codes within your body that are carried through our blood. Our blood is like a book of life that has predestined points and the marks in your life that are based on the, 60, 80 to 100 years lifespan of the human body, with progressive aging kind of the lifespan in the body. So you don't bring too much of this revolutionary new energy in. You have to rewrite it, and you can rewrite it. So your meditations need to be brought more into the body. And there's actually a simple way. So I think about it for probably the few months of playing with this for almost a half year right now. And then I realized that you do it through the way of the soul healing, what I teach in the class. It's actually so simple. The way how you bring this new consciousness and the energy and new choices, your new pattern into body is this way. Because, here you have an idea, you talk to people, it is working and so much on and the stuff. And then you start bridging it, living it, and the body, and what body, this hologram, would it progress? The pain body, right? The old human animal pain body go like, wow! It's all that way. it's self-sabotaging you. So the way to do it is to first talk to your gallbladder. There's your red line in the soul healing. Simply those who didn't do the soul healing, you put the hands on your gallbladder and you first connect with the gallbladder. Says, you know what? I love you. You are such an amazing organ in my body. I know that the doctor says it's so insignificant. They cut it out. We can live without it. But you are so beautiful and I love you. According to Chinese medicine, the gallbladder holds the energy of choices. This is where you choose what you want. In my next book, not this one, but the next book, this book focuses on understanding these emotions and releasing them and starting developing more stronger abilities. And like with the shame, it will be the taste and taste of life. The next book will be more focusing on these organs. So the gallbladder actually runs from the top of your head on the side of the body down to your toe. And to me, it is connected to the Orion star nation. In the acupuncture, there are these points over your hip that actually look like a belt of the Orion. And you have an upper part and you have a lower part. So the Orion, we know as the energy of the mind. They have been the crazy dark lords. This is something what I'm writing, in this book. But it changed. And when they contribute to the body, they could block all your choices, but they didn't. Why? Because they love humans and humanity. They are not just the crazy reptilians who want to ruin your life. I mean, are there some crazy reptilians who want to ruin your life? Yeah. But I think the humans are the worst kind of trying to ruin each other's life. We don't even have to be afraid of these aliens. If we figure out our human self and what we do each other, the life, how we make miserable to each other. And I don't mean you guys, but you meet people like that. That's the worst in some reptilians, that you can be afraid of every single day and just sweat up there in the thinking of it, what it is going to be. So if I know that this energy is connected to the mind and there's a mind, there's an ego, then I talk directly to the mind and says, I want to change. And they says, well, what you want? You need to know what you want. You need to know what you want, because if you want to change, the universe picked a change for you. What is most likely will be best on your evolutionary process. Before I got my Lyme disease, I would sit in my room and I would cry and I feel so trapped in my life. And I wanted to change. I was just too weak, too cowardly, believe or not, too shy and too victimized to even manifest any of my change. So universe says, oh, you've been the healer. You really love this energy stuff, and that would be a great change for you. So let me help you to become sick so you can evolve from it and become the healer you would like to be. You don't want that. Trust me, you do not want that. Once I was watching this wonderful young man on the YouTube, who goes to Africa and just devote his life to helping these families and the children evolve. And there was a series of the video, and I saw it a few years ago. And the one of them, he says, God, please help me. I cannot take it. I don't know what to do, how to manage it. Like, I want to help them, but I don't have energy anymore. I don't know how to do this. And I look at him, I was like, please don't say it. Please don't say it. Please take it back. And then I look at the two videos, and guess what he got? A Lyme disease. To help you to evolve, to help you to know that you need to learn, you need to accept the help, you need to find something somewhere else, and so much on. And then you kind of like many people get trapped in that save me, or I have to save myself. So be specific what you want. I want to be a writer. I want to be a true teacher. I want to have a life filled with love, happiness, and success. And you know that the success or the thriving comes from your knowledge of your soul-mind connection. That is a very reasonable thing. I want to meet my higher self or future self. Well, who is my future self? Is somebody who has a wonderful family life, working, professional life, who creates something that helps this humanity. Be specific. You each know what do you want. Again, there is that word want. You need to want something. You need to have the goal to something. And then you put it there in that gallbladder and you choose it. Just choose it. If it's the right thing for you, you will get it. You're not going to get choked up on the one underneath. So here is the choice in your body. And then you bring that choice like in your body. Let it vibrate in your body. And body says, okay, we got the order. We got the order. What are we going to do with it? Then through the acupuncture there actually, which I didn't know, I just learned this year, which is really exciting. There's actually a point that connects between your gallbladder and it feeds into spleen. So the next thing, you don't need to know any of these points. You put your hands on your spleen, and in the soul healing, we know that this is a communication with your soul, and you give love to your spleen. You says, you know what? I love you. Those in the Germany on the left side of the body. If you don't understand what is the spleen, I love you. You are so beautiful. Oh my God, what a beautiful organ you are in my body. Like connect with that physicality inside of you. Like I am so lucky to have you. Because the spleen sent out the information in your bone marrow to create a new cells, and your cells create a new blood. Guess what? Those new cells will scratch. And look at, just play with your imagination. Open your scroll of the blood. They're gonna erase or the scratch like a pattern of being a victim. Put it up there. Pattern of being successful. Having a life filled with love and happiness. Being a writer. Naturally, we think about it from the knowledge of the soul and the wisdom. That's what you feed into the spleen. So you put your choice there. So I choose this one. I allow my life, my every cell of my body vibrate with that energy of love and happiness and success. And I let it vibrate within to me. See, we are physically bridging the knowing into a feeling it and letting those cells receive the new message. Suddenly the body says, oh, there's that starseed program, right? Okay, this is how we have to adjust. We have to evolve. Last step, you're gonna do it. You're gonna bring that energy in your bladder. Bladder is your azure lake. That is your second chakra. Okay, in the soul healing, we go left hand on the bladder, right hand on the mind's eye. You don't have to do this point, mind's eye. Just put both your hands on the bladder. Bladder, your feminine divine within you, your cosmic mother, your Dantian. What is it you want? I allow. I've not used the word want, but I allow my life and every cell within my body be filled with love, happiness, and success. I'll thrive in this life for my soul and my knowledge. And I share it with others. And then something magnificent will happen. Your gallbladder and the spleen energy that are, join down there. It creates the lower triangle, point down triangle, which is a symbol of the feminine divine. That's the Shakti within you. And that energy is fed up in your body. It actually rises up as it's described in the Kundalini. In a similar, I think, way, it's probably the same way. I know in the Kundalini we speak of the first chakra and so much on. Just play with this one. It's the water of the lake goes to the river of the happiness in your heart and in the mind, into the sea of the infinite possibilities. In the acupuncture, they're actually pointing, this acupuncture is coming from the ancient Egypt, which, it actually comes from the Atlantean, the Lemurian time. But in the Egypt, it was like, oh my God, how are we going to help to stimulate these bodies without the technology that we have? Let's help us to find these points, how to reprogram them, redirect them to be able to hold this high voltage consciousness. And there are these points and they all lead into the sea, The C is when it's burst out through you. That energy doesn't burst out. You're going to hold it inside. You're going to imagine your body is an ankh. You all know the symbol of the ankh. Your body is an ankh. Your head, arms, your legs. You bring here, and the sea spill it all in your body. So you're going to hold it and vibrating through in and out of your body. Now, this is where the chaos can take over another higher amperage for the little bit, because ego says, holy macro, what are you doing? I can't deal with this. So it will bring out the last bits and pieces, whatever it can manifest. In the Czech, we have a saying, the dying horse kicks the most. So think of it, that your ego will be kicking like probably 3 or 5 dying horse merge into the one. Life's gonna go crazy. Your family may act up in a way that you may have never seen them before. It may feel like you may possibly die. I mean, emotionally, not even physically, but even the physical illness has a healing crisis. Something that it picks and then it goes, especially if you ever have done healing or anybody who had a flu, cold of the flu, there's always a healing crisis. That person spike up a high fevers or become really sick for about 24 hours, but then it's fine in the next 2 or 3 days instead of the 7 to 10 days projection of it. So you will create the crisis. Now that is something that there's no books written about it. At least I haven't written. I haven't heard about it or was fortunate to read any book about it. In the Hermetic teaching, you know, they definitely teach about the action and reaction. And to the equal action, there's an equal reaction. So if you push this way, of course, the ego gonna push the other way. And in the Hermetic teaching, they teach you to rise above that energy and be neutral. It's like, think about it as a swing of the pendulum. You swing in one way, it will naturally swing the other way. It will happen whenever you like it or not. It's the law of life. But you can imagine to climb up on the tower and stay there for a little bit. That may be your eye of the storm. And observe, observe, observe. Do not react. Wait for the storm to pass. Then, of course, you know, do what you need to do at the moment. Sometimes we do have to take the action. But whatever action you take, be guided by it. How you will be guided. When you put this, but I really want this and things are not happening in my way and I'm really upset and angry and sad and whatever we are, and we are, I mean, we honestly are. Every single one of us experience those emotions. So when you're sitting up there on that top of the tower, sitting in that neutral energy, most likely you are not dandy and fine. You are there with a very sad feelings. But it's just a feeling. If you don't react, something good's gonna happen. This is where you need to really hold on that energy of love. Again, whenever you already met somebody, or if it's the soul family, if it's the Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene and your guides, if you allow yourself to hold that unconditional love, you will get through this and you will get where you want it to be. You literally co-create this quantum speed within your body, and we're going to step into those times of the Essenes where we can carry so much of stuff. We can create so many things here on the earth, and you can have a healthy body until your time is ready, or until you are ready. I have seen it in my visions. I have seen it in my meditations. Do I exactly know how to do it? Not yet, but I do believe that I will. Why not? But the body needs to be able to handle it. It cannot be that once you hit the pattern of the shame or anything, that you start really manifesting it physically and so much on. We need to, you know, adjust to that. And I'm learning, same with you, as I'm teaching you guys. I'm just sharing whatever I find and works for me. And And at least hope works for me. And, we get through this together. You are not alone. Neither of us have this like beam of the light of the consciousness when we know it all. We don't, but we are getting there. Then, so I'm sitting up there on this tower and waiting for the storm to pass and knowing what to do, when to act, when to not to act. This is the communication. When do I speak and communicate? When my action will reflect all of that, and when to be quiet and just observe. Then with the word trust, the trusting that the right thing will come to me, that I'm not just, doomed for the eternity, right? There's this English word that I have learned that I really like, and it's called serendipity, which you English speaking people know very well. It took me a while to learn to pronounce it. Serendipity. And it means the occurrence and development of events by chance in a happy and beneficial way. So if I believe in the serendipity, I know that the good things will happen to me in a really good way, that the universe is gonna align me in my path because I'm doing my thing. I cannot just sit there and wait that the universe is gonna save me. But if I'm doing and taking my steps, then it's gonna happen. If I know I have to evolve, I don't know, sometimes we evolve through this illness, which means learning, practicing, physically doing and practicing what will help me to heal. And I know it's not gonna happen. If I wanna change my work, I may need to train myself or have a training of who I'm gonna be. If I wanna be a good writer and, to share my messages, I have to keep writing. No matter how bad I feel or how stuck I feel or how much I want to give up, I have to put that time into writing. That is how I evolve, because nobody's going to come there and save me. It doesn't work that way. But universe may help you to send the people in your path, to send the people who inspired you, who help you edit, for example, who really help you. It does. I really, really needed the help yesterday with an project, and I got what I needed, which was beautiful and wonderful. And again, my beautiful friend, my mentor, she says, okay, I'm gonna help you. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. Because it's okay to accept help. We don't have to do everything alone. So remember the serendipity and pay attention to the signs and symbols on your path. When you feel like, you want to, let's say that there are some actions that you need to take, that you feel like this is what you are guided to do. Universe will not take those actions for you. It sort of, give you an options, choices that you have to embrace. And it says, it is the right thing to do. And it may be something that will, feel like it's going to break your heart, but it's the right thing to do. Like I was thinking, should I talk about this scenes today, or there are some things I want to do today, and does the universe really have my back, or is it just, I need to a little bit sit and observe up there? And I get my signs, and the signs comes to in the most amazing way. Like I drove my son to the driver's school in the morning, and I was supposed to pay the fee for his driver's license on the next week, where he's supposed to take, and the instructor told me, says, don't worry, I took care about it. And I was like, wow. It was $75, and I was like, wow. Because all of that, I express my gratitude, like, right? Then I go and pick me a coffee, and the Dunkin' Donuts was like, it's time for the good coffee. And somebody in the front of me paid for my order. And I'm telling lady, I was like, I'm going to pay for the people behind me. And she says, you know what? The person before you paid like for 3 people behind you. Just go, you are fine. I actually burst into the tears, and I was crying in the silly drive-thru with the coffee. I was like, okay, I'm really loved. And it's not that I cannot afford those things, I can, but it was the act of kindness, the act of the kindness of the people that really touches your heart. And that's what we do. That's what we are meant to do this act of the kindness. And to me, it's always the sign of God or the universe be with me. Or when I see the, today I drive and there's a number 9 of probably the all plates. I was like, okay, ending of the patterns, just go with it for a little bit longer. Then it would be the number 8, right with the number 9. To me, the number 8 is the message that the universe loves me, that I'm supported, that they have my back, and that everything is going to be okay. So you pay attention to your signs when they come to you. Sometimes we need to take it nice and steady. I call it a turtle procedure, something I have called, learned from my mentor. Turtle procedure. The story when the turtle and the hare go to this run, and the hare goes really crazy and runs, and then he's tired and falls to sleep, and turtle goes nice and steady and wins the race. And that's what you need to think about yourself. Take one step at a time. If there's a storm, do the turtle procedure. Take it nice and steady, pay for the signs and the symbols. They are everywhere. We are just too angry and too upset to see them. Because why? Because we are not getting what we want and what we need. So if I put it aside and says, okay, maybe it takes a day or two until I see the signs. And I honestly couldn't see them yesterday. I was way too upset for seeing anything probably positive and good. But I saw them today and I had a good cry about it. And yeah, everything is going to be okay for me, for you, for everybody else. And I think this is a gift of this breaking of the old patterns and stepping into the new. What we are stepping into, totally bridging your starseed consciousness in this physical human body, you have not done in the past 2,000 years. Maybe very few of you have, but for the majority in this effect that you are doing it, you have not. We have not done it. So it is huge. It is painful, like a bird pains God without any medicine. I think the girls can relate to that one. But you know what? The beauty of the birthing a baby is this. Doesn't matter what excruciating pains you have or how many hours you go through when you feel like this is it, I just can't anymore. And you hold a baby in your arms and something magical happens. All that trauma from the birth goes away, right? All of it. It just goes away, and you're there and you cry over your baby, or you feel like, finally it's here. I think that was my thinking, like, finally it is here. Like it was bad. And you think about it fondly. Yet, if you have a broken arm and you're sitting somewhere on the street until they fix it and so much on, you may be traumatized for the rest of the life. You may be afraid to do that kind of the activity because you broke your arm. Yet you are not afraid to have a second baby. Like it comes to the birth time, you go like, oh my God, it's gonna be like that. But it's gonna go away. You give a birth and the pain goes away and you recover and you are grateful and happy from your child. So that's what it is with this one. It's exactly the same way. So the goal is, look at, do a life review. Look what worked, what didn't work, and especially what is happening right now. Write it down, journal for yourself. Will help you to understand it. It helps me. Then compare how it is same to something that have happened to you in this lifetime. Before you even go in the past lifetime, compare and observe this lifetime. And how can you do it differently? Most likely opposite way, what you have done before. And if you says like, oh my God, it doesn't make sense to do it in the past. It absolutely doesn't make sense. If you feel guided from the universe, do it. Trust. I have this friend who told me these things when I was laughing actually about. She says, you know what? It's like I'm going to destroy it before somebody else is going to destroy it myself. Like you do the opposite of it. And in the tarot card, if you're going through this, just find the tarot card named Tower and read about it. That is what is happening. So you can wait until somebody destroyed your tower. You can destroy the tower by yourself because it is you who's going to build it. Do it gently and be good to yourself. Again, all it leads into the self-acceptance. All you need from all of this is to accept yourself the way you are. So we are not perfect. Who has to be? If I can live it myself, if I would date myself, if I would meet my mini me and says like, wow, yeah, I would date myself. Or would I read my oven book? Yes, I would read my oven book. Would I eat the bread that I bake? Yeah, I would pay for it. I would enjoy it. Then that is the energy that you want to have. That is the self-acceptance. It has nothing to do with the people around you. It has nothing to do with what people want from you. Think about it. People will cheer you up on your journey. They would love you, but they would love you from their own perception or cheer you up on their own perception. If suddenly you don't do what they want you to do, what fits in their reality of the life, and if they become really angry at you, very judgmental of you or whatever happened to you, it's just because you don't fit into reality that they fit you in. It has nothing to do with you. Do you need to break it and change it everything at one day? No, you don't, but you become aware of it. And all they want you to do, really want you to do, and it's not even a mean kind of the thing because they are not aware of it. They want to shame you. So you will pollute your other leg with all that shame that you will fall back into the reality where they want you to be. So instead of changing in one day, you can say, okay, hold on a minute. So he or she is upset because I'm not doing or being the way how he or she would like me to be or they want me to be. This is how they make me feel bad. How about me? Can I accept it even if I make mistake or didn't make a mistake? Or it doesn't really matter. Can I accept myself like this? Can I, or should I feel really ashamed and bad because I cannot be what they need me to be? I would go into the self-acceptance, go on the top of the tower and observe what is next, how this scenario is going to fall and how this new reality will be built. So we do build our own and the new reality by our evolution. Okay, with this, I'm sorry, I do talk a lot, but it's just such exciting, topic and right on the time. Let's go do our meditation. So I'm going to share with you the meditation I have written for the new book. It's called The Journey to the Inner World. So in the new book, I will teach you that, to start to be connected in your body. Our meditation, again, I think as we're changing, all the rules and everything is changing. It's not to going outward, it's going to inward. In your body, it's like the land of the moon, the ancient place of the Lemuria. Or imagine that any way that you want it to be. The enter to your inner world is through the cave of your heart. So you enter in. Here I was saying, you have already been here before because I teach you that in this is the work of the second chakra. So with the first chakra, I explained the book that how you go into this cave of your own being. And then you can teleport. Your abilities and everything is heightened inside your world. And you can do any kind of the work you want. We're going to meet a cosmic mother that you remember within yourself, and we will release. The goal of this meditation is to release the patterns of the shame and accept your self-acceptance. And then we will work with the organs to bring this new energy in the body. All right. I'll speak a little bit of language of light in between, and that will be. So get yourself ready. All right. Very good. Let's take a deep breath and release all the air out. Let's take another deep breath in. And let go of all your worries and all your expectations. Take another deep breath in. Let everything go. And you can repeat after me. I ask to be connected to the highest source, to God, my highest self, and the frequency of unconditional love. Then I bring unconditional love to my whole being. I imagine this beautiful bright light filling your body, starting at the top of your head and continuing all the way down to your toes. Kiakam Teliana Etiavon Tiasa Akata. Eniaka Aliasea. Etiavon Tiuana. Now journey to the inner world of your body. It will start at your heart. Now focus on your heart chakra. Take a deep breath in. Release all the air out. And walk into the opening of the cave in your heart chakra. You have been here before. You feel safe. Now see the glimpse of light and follow it. Before you know it, you enter the magical inner world of your body. It feels like the ancient land of Mu. Now put your hands over your second chakra and imagine yourself by the Azure Lake. The scenery of the lake is breathtaking. Notice the pristine water. How peaceful it is. And you may wonder how this water would taste. How it would make you feel. Welcome to Azure Lake. You hear a soft voice and realize you are not alone. Near you sits a woman in a chair, overlooking the lake. She makes a slow hand suggestion. Join me. Eniakam tela sanata. Eyavon tiaka. Elavon tiu aneasa. You know this woman. You remember the feeling of her inside of you. She is a cosmic mother. And she is waiting here for you. Your whole being is filled with peace and complete trust. And you accept the invitation. For a moment, you sit here together, quietly, gazing at the azure water. The sight nourishes you. The sight, this vision nourishes your soul inside. Time is eternal here. Relax. Now, Cosmic Mother gently touches your soul or touches your hand. Water of this lake has life-giving essence. You can surrender your struggles of the past. no matter what they are. And you can release them in the water. Now, at the moment, let's focus on the feeling of shame and believe that you are not good enough. Now, Cosmic Mother moves her hand in the counterclockwise motion by your sacral chakra. And if you feel ready to let go of this feeling of the shame and belief, if you are ready to forgive yourself and others, you can allow her to pull darkness of shame and all beliefs out. When she is done, she motions her hand toward the lake. And the dark stain visibly appears. Tianom Teliaka Neatasa. Just allow her to pull it out. And allow her to pull, throw it in the lake. And just see it. See? There's your shame in the water of the lake. Just see it, don't be afraid. Now you do it yourself 2 more times. Focus on your personal feelings of shame and believe that you are not good enough. And pull them out from your second chakra and throw them into the lake. Now let's do it 1 more time. Focus on your personal feeling of shame and believe that you are not good enough. Pull them out of your sacral chakra and throw them into the lake. Now notice how your release creates these ugly stains on the water. You carry your shame where no one can see it, but here in the world, in the inner world of your being, nothing is hidden. Now allow yourself to transmute these feelings. Trust the wisdom of the life-giving water. Let in the lake to transmute your emotions. In this case, shame and beliefs of failure into self-acceptance. Now observe what is happening on the surface of the lake and within you. Stain is cleared, and Cosmic Mother holds a glass of fresh water for you. If you are ready to accept, taste the self-acceptance. If you are ready to accept, then taste this water of the self-acceptance. Now allow the taste of it to fill your whole being. Just drink it. And allow the taste of the self-acceptance to fill your whole being. Now remember this taste and feeling of self-acceptance. When you in the future will ever feel ashamed, just remember how self-acceptance tastes. And choose it as what you want to feel. You are the master of your own destiny. Now let's transform this new energy into your physical body. Put your hands over your gallbladder. And first express your love for this organ. And your ability to make any choice in your life. Then repeat after me. I am changing my life pattern of shame into a new life pattern of self-acceptance. Now feel it. Feel it vibrating through your body. Now move your hands over your spleen. Express your love for this organ. And your ability to encode this new pattern into your blood. I allow self-acceptance to be vibrating in every cell of my being. And feel it. Now move your hands over your bladder. This is your azure lake. Express your love for this organ. I love you, my bladder. And your ability to draw on its creative, life-giving essence. Allow yourself to thrive in your earthly life. I allow my soul's knowledge to be expressed with love, happiness to thrive. I do my best, and my best is good enough. Now feel this energy moving gently upward, feeling your heart and your brain. And now look over the azure lake. It's peaceful. Its peacefulness mirrors within your whole being. And it's time to return back to your life and thrive. Kia kon taliata anase. Just for a moment, feel it all vibrating within the physical body. Kia von taliana asiaha. You are welcome to come here and release any kind of low vibrational feelings. And accept the alchemy of the azure lake. To fill your glass with the opposite. Drink it. Taste it. And bring the essence of the feeling of this experience back to your physical body. And record it in the cellular structure of your being. In your gallbladder, in your spleen, in your bladder. The intelligent design will share it with every cell of your being. Now it is time to come back. Express your gratitude to Cosmic Mother, Azure Lake, and to yourself. And everyone who assisted you today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And slowly, slowly, slowly come back. Now, as you're slowly coming back, a very, very last thing I want to remind you of that you have two willpowers. One is the suffering, one is unconditional love. So do this changing of the patterns, finish this journey with the unconditional love. It's mean without control, with trust, to believing that the best things will happen to you, even though they are not happening the way as you want or need at the moment. Pay attention to signs. The universe has your back. Your soul family has your back. And we are here. It is our job and our responsibility to create this little mini-me's up here, all of us. You know, whatever it is that you do, that you hold, that you have, the love that you have, to showing the others, yes. There it is. I do believe that this, you know, the pattern of the love, soulmate connection that is awakened so strongly and deeply lately. It's to show the people that, you know what, why should we fight? Why the people can't come and be together from very different backgrounds and the ways, and there's so much on. That is probably what will help to heal this world when we start to separating ourselves from each other, from the nations, from the way how we look, how we speak, who we are, and start accepting first ourselves and the people in our life and all around us. And that's what the people will learn from you. It's not as much of the translation of the divine hermetic teaching or the green emerald tablets that we give. It is the what we embody, how this energy become our everyday life, that we can share it through ourselves with the others, how we are that inspiration what the others would like to have, you know, when they says, wow, I want to be like that, or I want to deal with the stuff like that. And to be inspiring or to be that, you know, you do have to have your stories of not being successful and having problems in your life and having the most dysfunctional patterns you probably could have, because that is when you can say, I lived that, and look at me, if I could change it, you can do. That's why I didn't choose another disease to give us an example today, but the Lyme disease, because if I could have go through it, you can, anybody else can, not that I wish it for you, but that is why the things are happening to you, to beat the odds, transform, evolve from it, evolve all that situation and hold that light code pattern for the other people. Says, why not? Why we think about the things that are impossible that can be totally possible? Why the anything can be possible. So put it up there. We are in the 18 years of the window of living and playing in the field of the infinite possibilities. So let's play. I mean, what is the worst thing that's going to happen? We're all going to die by the end of this life. And it can happen tomorrow. It can happen 50 years from now. So what are we going to be afraid for the next 50 years? What is going to happen to us? Let's live our day like it may be the last. You know, I don't think it's going to be. And allow yourself to go through its transformation with the most gentleness toward yourself, with the self-acceptance, self-love, self-respect. And your reality will change. Like in that third procedure, slowly but surely. So with that, guys, I love you. Thank you for sitting here with me over the time. And I hope to see you the next month. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you.